Guys, I just wanted to talk about staying safe both physically and mentally during coronavirus quarantine. I know it's been really hard for a lot of families to stay home here in the New Jersey, New York area. It is mid-June and we've officially been quarantined for over 3 months. And I just wanted to share with you some of the tips that we've been using to keep sane during this time. Even before March, when the quarantine officially started, we were already quarantining in our household because we just had the newborn Julian in January. So we were already staying home and not really going to stores or having people over. So really for us, it's been 5 months of quarantine. Luckily for us, both my husband and I were able to work from home. Thank you to all the essential workers who are still going to work. For food during this time, we were getting all of our groceries delivered. I know there are a lot of different food delivery services like Shipt and Uber Eats, but we've been using Amazon Prime, fresh delivery and Whole Foods delivery because we already have a Prime membership and I didn't want to have to pay a separate membership on top of that. During the beginning of the pandemic, it was really hard to try to find delivery time, so you would have to be up all hours of the night trying to have everything ready. My advice for that is always have your cart full of groceries that you know you want, like your basic staples, eggs, milk, bread, meat, vegetables, fruit. And whenever a time pops up, you're able to just click order now right away without having to re-up your grocery list. So just always have all your essentials in your cart so you're ready to go at any moment. Also, Target has the drive up option, which if you order everything online, then you're able to go to drive up to a Target and they're able to just put everything in your trunk. These are only going to be dry and non-perishable goods. So any of your cereals, your canned food, dry coffees, snacks, chips, things like that, you'd be able to order and then have them put it right into your trunk. And the Target associates were able to just scan our phone through the window, so we didn't even have to roll down the window or sign anything, which before the pandemic, you had to still sign the pad. In our household, we have the newborn as well as my mother who has compromised health, so we have not been going to the stores at all. But I know a lot of people have been going to grocery stores, so we've been utilizing any of our friends, families, or neighbors who do go to the grocery stores. They usually would text us and we wouldn't give them a lot. We would just give them a few essential things that we couldn't get anywhere else and then we're able to just Venmo them any money. And then after we got the groceries, we were one of those families that were sanitizing and cleaning all of our food before we brought it into the house. We would have an area outside of the house on the porch where it would take both me and my husband to sanitize and wipe down anything and then bring it in. Any of the dry food that we didn't need right away, we would put into the basement and let it sit there for a few days until we actually did need it. And any of the fresh produce, we definitely washed it and then put it into the fridge. I know that seems like an overkill, but with New York and New Jersey being the epicenter of the pandemic, we really didn't want to take any chances with my mom being here and with the baby here. And if you happen to have a newborn during these times, you know you had to go to the doctor's appointments for the vaccinations. Our pediatrician's office was actually closed for a few months during the pandemic, so Julian's doctor's appointments were actually pushed out about 6 weeks. So his 2-month appointment he ended up having at 4 months, and then his 4-month appointment he had at 5 months. And we also had Leilani's 3-year wellness visit check. And just going to the doctors during these times was a little bit scary. The doctor's offices were definitely taking precautions on how they were handling patients. And I'm gonna have another video on showing how I did that and how the practice was there, but it was just a lot different than how it was pre-coronavirus. And now I'm gonna talk about the mental health of this, because even with trying to stay physically healthy, that's great, but really mentally what this is doing to a lot of people, having to stay in the house, having children who all of a sudden were not going to school or daycare anymore, not seeing their grandparents or aunts and uncles or cousins or neighbors, that has definitely taken a toll on all of us, and we're just trying to do the best we can because this is really hard for all of us, and this is a strange new normal that we live in. Nobody's expected to be able to know what to do and how to do it perfectly during this time. The first thing I would suggest about staying mentally healthy is just really try to set reachable daily and weekly goals that you have that are actually doable. There was little things that we did here. I was making face masks. I'll link the video down below. I feel like I was helping. I was making masks and donating them to first responders and also just selling them to neighborhood moms in the area. And just doing some of those projects around the house that you always wanted to do but you never felt like you had time for, like any cleaning up, reorganizing anything that you have, gardening, we did some gardening, scrapbooking, any of this, the things that you really didn't have the time for before. From the beginning, we were taking walks outside as a family. I think that was really important just to get fresh air. We were still social distancing for everyone, wearing our masks whenever we were out. We had an 8 p.m. curfew, so I found that going out an hour before the curfew time at 7 o'clock, mostly everyone was already back in their house and eating dinner at that time, so there was less people on the streets. So we were able to take our walks with our daughter and me holding Julian in the carrier without really feeling scared of running into a lot of people. Another fun activity, which I think everyone's been doing, is baking and trying new recipes. There's BuzzFeed food and the tasty videos, all those little delicious looking recipes that you've always seen that you always wanted to try. For Leilani, she's 3 years old. We really wanted to try to keep things as exciting and interesting for her. So anything that we did that was out of the ordinary schedule routine, taking out the trash, doing laundry, going into the basement to get something, we really included her. So we're like, okay, put on your shoes, let's come outside and take out the trash for mommy and daddy. Something to stay connected with family and friends during this time are virtual celebrations. I've been part of so many virtual baby showers, birthday parties, graduations, and I think it was just a good way for us to all connect. You can use Zoom, FaceTime, Facebook Messenger, Google Hangouts, just getting everybody to be able to connect for those big celebrations so that we still have something to look forward to. And even Leilani turned 3 during this quarantine, and we had a big celebration for her in the house. We used things we found around the home and we just made it special for her, and I made a whole video on that and I'll link that down below too. And something I implemented in our family at the beginning of the virus was that every day at 7 p.m. we would have a FaceTime call with all the family members. And it's usually only for 5 minutes. And if you have free time to just jump on it, and we all just update each other about what's going on, what we're cooking, how the weather is where you are, because all of our family members are all dispersed across the country. A personal goal for myself is to get the house clean and in order, because since coronavirus started, this house has been in shambles. And I would really like to have the house in order before things go back to normal, before we start going back into the office. Another goal that I've had personally was I finally started a YouTube channel. I've been saying that was gonna do this for years, and I've always wanted to do it, and everyone's been telling me I should do it. And I finally got down and was like, hey, now's the time to do it. There's a lot of great YouTubers out there that talk about, you start today. You make a video today and you upload it and then you keep going. So that's what I've been doing. For Leilani, also any of those Christmas items that we've been holding on to and we didn't open yet, now we've been opening them just to give her something new and exciting to look forward to. So she has this big surprise. And there was also just little even small toys from the dollar store that just got her really excited. She had a little pinwheel that was from the dollar store and these little outdoor decorative butterfly stakes, and it was just something new and exciting for her to have, and she remembers them and she appreciates them. A new normal for Leilani was wearing the face mask. She didn't really understand why we were wearing the face mask. With her being 3 years old, we tried to have her wear it around the house and she didn't like it, but we made it a point that if she wanted to go outside, she would have to wear the mask, and that gave her motivation to put on the mask. And we had to explain to her in simple terms that the air is dirty, and when we go outside to stay safe, that we need to wear the mask. And I also made masks for all her toys, and I'll link that video down below too. And that really was able to make it a little bit easier to have that conversation with a toddler. We have to explain to her also that she can't just run across the street to the neighbors, which she was so used to doing all the time. And when grandma came to drop off groceries, we would have to wave to her from the window in the car because we couldn't actually go out there and hug her. We also made it a point to tell her that washing your hands is now 20 seconds long, so I would have her as soon as we came home from being outside, even if she didn't really touch anything, we just made it a point to be like, okay, we have to wash our hands. You could sing a hand washing song or just count to 20 or sing your ABCs, so it'd be learning and fun as they're washing their hands as well. Leilani also now knows to take off her shoes outside of the house and not to wear them in the house. Again, pretty extreme measures, but we're just trying to take precautions and make a regular habit of it. And now as states are going into phase 1 and phase 2 of reopening, I think that's great. And I think there's just going to be a lot of things that we took away from this time. And just another way we could look at this is that really appreciate this time for what it is. I know it's not ideal, it's not the best, but never will we be able to all be in the home like this all together, pretty much 24/7. As hard as it is, I'm so happy that I've been home the last few months to be with my kids and to really be here every single day from morning till night, because I'm never going to be able to have that experience again. Just remember that we're all in this together. Don't be too hard on yourself if you're not getting things done or if your kid's having way too much more TV and screen time. I hope you guys are staying safe during these times, and we'll get through this on the other side, an even better version of ourselves. And in a few years from now, we'll look back at this time and be like, remember when we were stuck at home for 5 months and we were coronavirus quarantined?